there's also stuff much later on, right at the end of the series, that was equally fabulous to do, but I can't talk about that stuff because there is a huge reveal and huge surprise
Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Theorizedd, and I just got done watching episode 7 of WandaVision. I kind of knew everything that was going to happen. I was going to put out a video discussing some theories about episode 6, but that video took so long, so I figured I'd give some of my theories for episode 7 and for what I think is going to happen for the rest of the season. So if you did not watch episode 7 of WandaVision, look out for spoilers and also proceed with caution because I think I might be onto something about how the rest of the series is going to play out. Episode 7 starts off with Wanda laying in bed, and just like us watching her, Wanda questions everything that happened last night. The questions I was wondering were, where is Pietro and where is Vision? She made all this fuss to help Vision out and expanded the Hex, and then she just kind of left him there. I thought it was kind of funny, but they do address this later. But anyways, Wanda is trying to ignore everything that she did or that happened so that she doesn't have to process it. Billy is telling his mom his head hurts, most likely because of all the new people that have entered the Hex and his powers expanding. The intro song is pretty normal, but we do get something that says, "Wanda, we know what you are doing." They briefly show what Hayward is up to in this episode. He says that they're going to launch today, so they obviously have some plans to get their precious, vibranium-made Vision corpse. Tommy and Billy ask Wanda about Vision, and she tells them that if their dad doesn't want to be there, then he doesn't have to be. And they ask about their uncle Pietro. Wanda is like, look, that's not your uncle, and I don't have all the answers. And we see her not having the answers more as they show Wanda not knowing why the Hex is glitching. Notice that when the milk was glitching on the back of the carton, we see a kid with the words missing above his picture. We will come back to that. Agnes grabs the kids for Wanda. Agnes knows that Wanda is kind of going through it, so she uses this and tells Wanda that she will take the kids off of her for a while. Wanda is still on good terms with Agnes despite having tension with everybody else. Agnes brings the kids over to her house while Wanda realizes that her magic isn't working. Jimmy and Monica are on their way to her engineer friend to try and find a way back into the Hex since Wanda isn't letting anybody else in. Jimmy figures out what Darcy was looking for. Based off of what they were saying, it seems like Hayward's motive is to bring Vision back to life, or at least to get him back online. Apparently, nothing was working until Wanda showed up and took Vision into the Hex. If this is the case, then maybe Hayward wanted Wanda to come steal Vision's body, or maybe she just ended up giving Hayward exactly what he's trying to get, a sentient weapon. It could be that Hayward and Agnes are working together, or maybe these are two different villains with two separate motives. Moving on, we finally get to see that engineer friend that Monica kept talking about, Major Goodner. While at first I was kind of let down by this, when Goodner mentioned to Monica that they got her the best space rovers, I kind of got excited. Is this Monica's girlfriend back in Captain Marvel impersonating a human? That's what I'm thinking. I don't think that they would hype this up for nothing. Vision wakes up Darcy after she was sucked up by the Hex. They end up trying to get back to Wanda, and Darcy tells Vision exactly who he was before the Hex. We see that Vision knows that Pietro is an imposter, confirming my theory about him. They keep coming into these obstacles, making it harder for him to get home. Vision thinks it's Wanda doing this because she doesn't want him to get home, but I think it's someone else. Back out the House of M, House of Wanda, things keep glitching when we cut to a confessional of her talking to a camera, and someone we can't see behind the camera tells Wanda she deserves what is happening. Wanda doesn't seem to be able to see who this is either. The glitches seem to be happening only in Wanda's house. When we go to Agnes's house and see the kids and Agnes together, Agnes asks Billy if her pet bunny rabbit is a good listener, implying that she knows about his powers. Billy replies that he likes it at her house because she is quiet. Monica uses his spaceship to try and enter the Hex, but this doesn't work, but the spaceship seemed to leave just enough damage so that Monica could go through on foot, and this is when we get the Spectrum origin story. I feel like they could have done more for her origin story or just made it a little bit more badass, but I'm happy to see her character. It seems like she can see all the energy inside the Hex with her newfound powers. She goes to try and warn Wanda. Wanda doesn't like this. She tries to throw Monica out, but Monica with her powers make it clear that she is not leaving. That's when Agnes steps in and tells Monica to leave while she takes Wanda in her home, seemingly trying to calm Wanda down. Vision ends up leaving Darcy to try to get to Wanda, just because it seems like they cannot get there by car. Wanda realizes that her kids are not with Agnes, so Agnes tells her they are playing in the basement. Wanda goes to look for her kids in the basement, and that's when we see that Agnes has a whole worshipping temple in her basement leading to Under Westview. Agnes reveals herself as Agatha Harkness and traps Wanda. She reveals that it's been her all along. She was the one responsible for Pietro. She was acting when Vision awakened her, and just like the Witch of Wizard of Oz, she got her little dog too. Which, if you don't remember, Sparky did go into her yard, and that's when we see that Sparky kind of was offed. That's all we know. So most likely, he was figuring out what was really going on, and we know that Billy has telepathic powers. We know that Agatha knows this, so in order to stop Billy from understanding what the dog is saying, she most likely had to kill the dog because he probably found out exactly what Agatha was doing. In the post-credit scene, we see Monica is trying to get into Agnes's house and finds a way directly into her basement when we see Pietro come behind her. All of my theories have been right so far, so if my theory about the rest of the season ends up spoiling it for you, you have been warned. So to start off the episode leaves us with a few other questions. Let's start off with, what did Agnes do with the kids? And why are all the kids all of a sudden not in Westview again when we've seen that they were there for the Halloween episode? We know that witches like children, and we've seen that missing picture of a boy on the back of the milk carton. So maybe Agnes is responsible not for just Tommy and Billy, but for all the kids that are missing in Westview. What is Agnes's motive? From the post-credits scene, it seems like Agnes and Pietro are working together, which confirms my theory that Pietro isn't Pietro, as we hear Vision, Billy, and Wanda say. So if he's not Pietro, then I'm thinking we got either Nightmare or Mephisto here. In the comics, the kids are part of Mephisto's soul, so in other words, that's their dad. With Agnes controlling the people in the town, and with some of them possibly being more aware than the others, I'm starting to get the feeling that when they all said for the children in episode 2 that this was some sort of ritual. Also, remember that Agnes told Wanda she needed to be in good standing with Dottie. Vision and Wanda also needed to impress Mr. Hart and his wife, and Vision was told by the Night Watch that it's members only. Some of these people in Westview could be a part of a coven with Agnes, or maybe they are simply being controlled and will be used to help the villains fight the heroes in the end. Pietro could very well be Mephisto. We've seen in the last episode that he wanted to be a father figure for Tommy and Billy and had a dislike for Vision. Whoever Pietro reveals himself to be, I think he is the father of Billy and Tommy, maybe not genetically, but ritually conjured by the coven. The way that the plot is thickening is starting to remind me of The Incredibles, which in episode 6 was on the movie theater. At first that didn't make sense since The Incredibles' powers are more reminiscent of the Fantastic Four than they are Wanda and Vision, but I think they put this there out of similarities between the plot. If we think about it, the husband, but in this case the wife, is trapped by someone she thinks is good. The spouse is trying to go save their loved ones, to later find out that the person who led them in the trap is not completely evil but works for someone else. A whole family of superpowered individuals possibly being trapped by these villains and having to break out and fight the villains together to save their town. I really like the direction they are going with the series. I think they're going to give Darcy and Jimmy more of a helping role in this. I think by the end we are going to get some type of mutants, because Paul Bettany said that we are in for something big and that the MCU is going to be looked at in a whole different way. Let me know in the comment section below if you think that I am onto something. Let me know your theories down below, and also I want to go live on Instagram after every episode, and maybe you guys can join my live and theorize with me. Maybe I will upload it on YouTube after so you guys can get credit if one of you guys end up being right. Follow my Instagram and Twitter, links down below at Theorizedd with 2 D's at the end. Theorizedd, so 2 D's. Let me know if that's something you want to do and what you guys want to see on my channel. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you guys on the next one.